They say your mind plays tricks on you when you're alone for too long, that the silence starts whispering and the shadows begin to remember your name. But sometimes it's not your mind. Sometimes something else learns how to whisper back. Part 1. The Silence That Watches. Evan lived alone in a small apartment on the edge of town, the kind of place that always felt just a little too quiet after midnight. He worked long hours at a graphic design studio, often staying up late, staring at glowing screens, losing track of time. That night, the city outside felt unnaturally still. No cars, no distant chatter, just the hum of his refrigerator and the faint buzz of the light above his desk. He was designing a Client S logo when he felt it again. That sensation of being watched. It wasn't the first time. For the past week, Evan had felt eyes on him whenever the apartment went silent. Sometimes he'd turn suddenly toward the kitchen doorway, convinced he'd see someone standing there, but it was always empty. Always him, alone, breathing too loud. He told himself it was exhaustion, a trick of his nerves. But that night when he shut down his laptop and turned off the lights, the apartment didn't go dark. Not completely. A faint shadow lingered beneath his bed. He noticed it only because it moved when he didn't. Part 2. The weight beneath. Yvonne couldn't sleep. He lay on his side, staring at the edge of his blanket, half covered in moonlight spilling through the window. The house made its usual creaks, old pipes settling wood, wind brushing against the glass. All familiar sounds. But beneath those, something else breathed. Soft, uneven, like someone trying not to be heard. He froze, muscles tightening, his mind scrambling for logic. It's the wind. It's just air through the vent. But then, the mattress shifted, just slightly, enough to make the frame groan. Evan's heartbeat thundered in his ears. He didn't move, didn't dare. Every instinct screamed run, but his body refused. He slowly leaned over the edge of the bed, gripping the blanket with trembling hands. The darkness beneath was thicker than it should have been, heavy, dense. His phone was on the nightstand. He reached for it, turned on the flashlight, and pointed it under the bed. Nothing, just dust and silence. He laughed nervously. Jesus, Evan, get a grip. He lowered the phone, turned off the light, and froze again. From beneath the bed came a whisper, so soft he almost missed it. A voice, fragile and close. Why did you stop looking? Part 3. The Cracks in the Mind. The next morning, Evan barely remembered sleeping. The daylight didn't help. Everything looked normal. His bed, his laptop, his half-empty mug on the counter. But he couldn't shake the echo of that whisper. He didn't tell anyone. Who would believe him? He wasn't the kind of guy who believed in ghosts. But that night he noticed something else. When he got home from work, his apartment felt different. The air was colder. His reflection in the TV screen seemed delayed by half a second, and when he glanced at the floor near the bed, he saw footprints in the dust. Bare, small, leading halfway out, then stopping. He dropped his keys. They clattered too loudly in the quiet. Who's there? He called out. No answer. He searched every room, checked every closet, every window. Nothing. No signs of a break-in. But when he returned to the bedroom, something was off. His blanket was folded back, and his pillow was slightly indented, like someone had been lying there, waiting. That night, sleep came in waves of shallow panic. He'd jolt awake to soft tapping sounds, sometimes on the window, sometimes under the bed. And then one night, it wasn't tapping. It was humming, a low, childlike tune that made his skin crawl. He pressed his ear to the floor, listening. The humming stopped. Then a voice whispered, clearer this time, "Don't worry, you'll fit down here too." Part 4, the final night. Evan didn't leave his apartment anymore. Every night the noises grew louder, dragging sounds, laughter, the faint scrape of fingernails on wood. He set up a camera facing the bed, determined to catch whatever was happening. At 3:11 a.m., the mattress dipped. Something crawled out. When Evan reviewed the footage, the video glitches just before the shape appeared. But for 2 frames, he could make out a pale arm, reaching out from beneath the bed. He didn't sleep that night. He sat in the corner, knife in hand, waiting for morning. But at some point, exhaustion won. His eyelids grew heavy. The next thing he knew, it was daylight. The bed looked undisturbed, except the sheet was hanging slightly over the edge, as if something had pulled it down from below. He leaned over to fix it. His fingers brushed against something cold. A hand, small, fragile, grabbed him back. He screamed and stumbled backward, hitting the wall. The bed skirt lifted slightly, and something's face peered out. Not monstrous, not ghostly, just hollow, human. A face that looked almost like his own, except for the eyes. Empty, watching, waiting. Evan bolted from the room. He didn't stop running until he was outside, barefoot, shaking under the streetlight. He called the police, told them someone was in his apartment. When they arrived, they found no one. No signs of struggle, no prints. But when they lifted the bed frame, they found long claw marks carved into the wooden floor, perfectly shaped like hands. Evan moved out the next morning, but his neighbors say his new apartment hasn't helped much. He still wakes up at 3:11 a.m., still hears humming from the floor. And sometimes, when the lights go out, he swears he can feel a faint breath beneath him, like someone waiting for him to look again. You never really know what's hiding in the dark until it starts breathing with you. If you ever hear a sound beneath your bed tonight, don't look. Just remember, some shadows only move when you notice them. This is fog, where the quiet isn't empty, it's watching.